What it is, welcome back to another episode of the Urban Warrior Podcast, your number one resource for physical, mental, and spiritual self-defense to help you be more self-reliant in a unreliable world. I'm your host, B-Rock, aka Brody, or the other way around. And y'all see what that title is. We're already living in a zombie apocalypse. Most people just don't realize it yet. So if you like that type of content, you want more, make sure to like, subscribe, share, turn on post notifications. And without further ado, let's get it. All right, look, I'm going to say something that might sound crazy at first, but stay with me for a sec. If you ever watch something like The Walking Dead or played a game like Resident Evil, you know the classic zombie formula. The civilization collapses, people start to panic, the infected people shuffle around like a mindless herd, and the small group of survivors has to think differently if they want to make it out alive. Now, here's the wild part. If you pay attention to how a lot of people are today, it starts to look very similar. Look, I'm not saying that there's a virus turning people into flesh-eating monsters. I know a lot of people wishes that were the case. What I am saying is that the mindset we see in zombie stories, the herd mentality, the lack of awareness, the dependency on the system is already happening in real life. And if you're one of the survivors, you can see that clearly. And also, in every zombie story, the biggest threat isn't always the zombies. Sometimes it's the humans. Sometimes it's the people who refuse to wake up. Okay, so I'm going to give you 7 reasons why the zombie apocalypse has actually already started. Number 1, zombies follow the herd. Most people do too. In almost every zombie movie, the zombies move in groups. They don't think independently. They follow noise, movement, and whatever the crowd is doing. That sounds familiar, don't it? A lot of modern life is basically herd behavior on autopilot. People follow trends without questioning them. They repeat opinions they heard like only 5 minutes ago. They move whenever the algorithm tells them to, or wherever the algorithm tells them to. The news cycles or the crowds push them. And the problem with herd thinking is real simple. When the herd runs off a cliff, everybody else does too. Now, as a survivor, survivors learn to step outside of the herd mentality. That means they ask questions, they think for themselves, and not automatically assume that the crowd is always right. So here's a tip to help you stay out of the herd mentality and not act like a zombie. Practice making independent decisions without waiting for social approval, which will probably end bad anyway. This is going to matter because in a real emergency, whether it's a blackout, a riot, a disaster, zombie apocalypse, or whatever, people who wait for the herd to tell them what to do usually act last. And in a survival situation, late actions can also lead to no actions at all. Number 2, zombies are distracted by noise, and modern people are also distracted by the screen. I'm telling you, watch any zombie movie and you'll notice something. A loud sound, a shotgun, a car alarm, breaking glass, pulls the entire horde towards it. The zombie's attention is easily hijacked. Now think about the way people act in real life. Whether it's phones buzzing, notifications popping, endless scrolling, the average person checks their phone like hundreds of times a day, and most of that information has zero positive impact on their actual life. Distraction is one of the biggest weaknesses in survival. If you're mentally somewhere else, you're not aware of what's happening around you. So here's a little tip. Start looking up from your phone and scan your environment more regularly. This is going to matter because situational awareness is one of the most important survival skills there is. Most threats are avoidable if you notice them early enough. Number 3, zombies consume without thinking. Another classic zombie trait is their mindless consumption. I know this one sounds familiar. They wander around endlessly trying to feed. Now translate that into modern life. A lot of people spend their days consuming, whether it's content, food, products, or entertainment, but they rarely create anything. Most people rarely build skills. They rarely ask themselves whether what they're consuming is actually helping them to grow. A survivor's mindset is going to flip that completely. Instead of asking, what can I consume today? You start asking, what can I build today? So here's a little tip to help you avoid being a zombie. Balance every hour of consuming content with spending time creating, learning, or training. This is going to matter because it's going to be skills, not consumption, that's going to keep people alive if the system were to fail. Number 4, zombies ignore danger until it's too late. In most apocalyptic stories, the outbreak spreads because people ignore the warning signs. Someone messes around and gets bitten, then someone feels sick, then someone says it's probably nothing. Next thing you know, bam, the entire city is overrun with zombies. Humans have this psychological tendency called normalcy bias. It basically means people will assume things will keep working the way they always have been, even when there's clear signs that might not be the case. That's why a lot of people don't prepare for emergencies. They assume someone else will handle it. So what you want to do is adopt the mindset, prepare early, not urgently. This is going to matter because preparation always feels unnecessary right up until the moment it becomes essential. So don't get caught lacking. Number 5, survivors of the zombie stories are the ones who adapt. Here's the part people forget about zombie movies. The survivor who makes it usually aren't the strongest people. They're the most adaptable. They do things like learn new skills, improvise, and change strategies when things stop working. That's the real lesson hidden inside apocalypse stories. The world changes constantly, whether it's technology, systems, and even the economy can change. The people who thrive aren't the ones who cling to the old ways of doing things. They're the ones who adapt the fastest or faster than anybody else. So here's a tip. Challenge yourself regularly to learn new skills outside of your comfort zone. This is going to matter because adaptability is the ultimate survival skill. Number 6, survivors build tribes, not massive crowds. One of the most constant themes in stories like The Walking Dead is that survivors eventually form small communities, not giant crowds. Small, tight-knit groups where everyone can actually contribute. That's because survival isn't really a solo game like some people think. You need people with different skills. People like fighters, medics, builders, scouts, and others. The key is building a trustworthy tribe, not chasing popularity. It's about quality over quantity. So here's a tip. Focus on building relationships with people who value skills, loyalty, and preparedness. And I know that's more rare today than usual. And this is going to matter because in hard times, your network often determines your survival odds. And number 7, awareness is what separates survivors from zombies. At the end of the day, the biggest difference between zombies and survivors is real simple. It's awareness. Zombies move through the world unconsciously. Survivors pay attention. Survivors will notice patterns. They'll prepare for possibilities. They'll think about consequences before things happen. That awareness applies to everything. Personal safety, financial independence, mental health, preparedness, whatever. When you realize how systems actually work, you start moving real different. And that's when you stop being a part of the horde. So here's the hard truth. This isn't about insulting people. It's about waking up and decoding the system. A lot of people drift through life on autopilot. They'll start following trends. They'll consume nonstop entertainment, ignore all the warning signs, and assume that the system will always protect them like some kind of Superman. That's the closest thing to a real zombie apocalypse we have. Mindless living. The good news, you don't have to be a part of it. You can choose to be the person who thinks, prepares, trains, and builds real-world skills. That's what being an urban warrior is all about, and why I started doing this type of content to help you get there faster. And in a world full of zombies, be one of the survivors, please. Awareness and adaptation is your survival weapon. If you want a deeper dive into the Urban Warrior survival mindset and you like this type of episode, make sure to download this full episode over on Spotify, join the Urban Warrior Survival Discord, and sign up for my weekly newsletter and monthly magazine, both of them for free, over on urbanwarriorsurvival.com. The links are going to be in the description because awareness is step 1, preparation is step 2, and the people who start now are the ones who won't have to panic later. And the game that I'm playing on screen is Project Zomboid. Come join me over on Twitch for some chat and chill and live gameplay.